Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chanda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamachit, and so very glad you could join me this afternoon for day 6 of Maha Navaratri, day 6 of the 9 nights of the Divine Mother. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. Today we're going to be honoring the goddess Chinnamasta, and Chinnamasta means she who cuts off her own head. And this is a traditional Chinnamasta image. Sometimes we see her illustrated with her 2 daughters. The one on the right is red, the one on the left is blue. And there are 3 streams of blood gushing from her neck. And 2 are going to her daughters, and 1 is nourishing herself. And this represents the 3 main energy channels or nadis of the body. So Pingala Nadi on the right, the solar channel, Ida Nadi on the left, the lunar channel. These are the more dynamic and receptive energies. And then Shushumna Nadi, the pathway of Kundalini in the center, and that's the one that's nourishing her head. So we talked yesterday about how Ma Bhairavi symbolizes the transformation that takes place in us as we do this work. How we come to recognize that divine presence within ourselves. So essentially, when we look at Ma Chinnamasta, we've been doing this work to heal ourselves, and we reach a point when it can no longer contain that healing, and it has to burst forth, and we become healers to those around us. So she is very much the embodiment of seva, or selfless service. So we're actually going to do the meditation first today, and then we're going to conclude with our puja. So at this point, I'd like to invite you to find a comfortable seated position with a straight back, maybe roll the shoulders back to open the chest. I invite you to close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Take a moment first for grounding, for centering, preparing for a rite of meditation. Breathing out the cares of the day, the anxieties, the worries, the stress. Bringing in relaxation and a sense of peace. And then focusing your breath and your attention on your heart center, and again, allowing yourself to silently connect to that form of the Divine Mother that you're closest to. Visualize her seated or standing before you. Thinking again of some small aspect of your life that's ready for healing and transformation, and asking the Divine Mother for her assistance in these days to come. And maybe for some insight as well as to how yourself can become a healer to others. So I'm going to chant a short invocation to Ma Chinnamasta, her Gayatri Mantra. And then I'm also going to invite, while you're breathing deeply, to either out loud or silently to repeat her mantra, Om, Hum, Namah. And then we will go into our readings of the Swami Purana and the story of Sati. Om Bharochinye cha vidmae Chinnamastaye cha dhimai Tano Devi prachodayat. Jema Chinnamasta. Om Hum Namah. 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 Jema Chinnamasta Devi. Namah. The Swami Purana, Chapter 16, the Tapasya or austerities of Sukracharya. What happened to Sukracharya? Sati asked. Shiva continued his story. 90 years had passed and Sukracharya had not missed a mantra. Indra became terrified and he went to the guru, Brihaspati, the guru of the gods, and asked for help. Guruji, what shall we do? If Sukracharya is successful in getting the mantra, then the gods will be destroyed. Who will protect the forces of Dharma in creation? We must find some way. Brihaspati said to Indra, O Indra, for every event there is an appropriate time and place according to the circumstances and designs of nature. Even still, all existence is required to make the best efforts possible to accomplish the ideals for which each individual strives. As it seems highly possible that Sukracharya may accomplish the objective of his tapasya, then he behooves us to try to establish an ally in his camp. Send your daughter, Jayanti, to befriend him, and we shall look for an opportunity to deflect him from his path. Indra called his daughter Jayanti. Jayanti, I am giving you to Sukracharya in order to cultivate his friendship by serving him with the offering of loving devotion. Jayanti went where Sukracharya was performing his tapasya and began to assist the meditating Muni. She would gather flowers for his puja, cook his food, and clean his utensils. In the night, when he was finished with his meditation, she would massage his feet, rub his legs, and in every way became a partner in his life. For 10 years, Jayanti surrendered her loving service to her beloved Sukracharya, and her tender Shakti was a tremendous inspiration in the difficulties of his tapasya, his austerities. At last, Shiva initiated Sukracharya in the mantra by which the gods could be defeated. He was so pleased to have attained the goal of his tapasya. He spoke to Jayanti with great appreciation. Your sharing with me in the rigors of my tapasya has been a tremendous inspiration to me. It was your loving offering which motivated me in the pursuit of the success of my most cherished goal, Jayanti, and I grant you the boon of your cherished aspiration. O Lord, my Guru, my Father gave me to you with the order to cultivate your friendship by serving you with offering my loving devotion. As I serve you by paying full attention to your every need for 10 years, you should reciprocate and give me your full devotion for the next 10 years. And Sukracharya agreed. But I can only stay 10 years, Jayanti. After that, I must return to the Asuras, the demons. Sukracharya and Jayanti built a little hut in the forest and ended to enjoy the affections between two people solely attentive to each other. They were very happy and very much in love. Meanwhile, Indra returned to Brihaspati and said, Guruji, he has attained the mantra by which the gods can be defeated. You must do something to help us. And Brihaspati said, now I have no other course but to act for the assistance of the gods. Immediately, he disguised himself in the form of Sukracharya and returned to the camp of the Asuras, the demons. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shivadatri Svasvada Namostute Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jayabhutita Harani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute. Chapter 17. Brihaspati becomes Guru of the Asuras. The false Sukracharya entered the camp of the Asuras, and all gathered around and bowed down with devotion in respectful welcome for their loving Guru. Sukracharya returned their loving greetings and sat down upon the ground and began to teach. Asuras, I have returned from the difficult tapasya which Lord Shiva had prescribed for 100 years, and I have attained success. The great Lord has blessed me with the knowledge of how the Asuras can become successful in life and how to attain our cherished goals. We can only become successful through the clear definition, careful organization, and regular discipline. It is totally wasteful for us to deplete our energies in needless conflict with others. Why not negotiate for a harmonious resolution, our community goals, rather than individual interests and selfish desires? Put away all enmity with the gods. Let us cultivate peace and contented awareness. Let us study the philosophies and systems of yoga so that we can pursue union with that cherished ideal. The asuras listened to him spellbound. What novel philosophy had he expressed, totally foreign to their thinking? For 10 years, the asuras listened with rapt attention to the brilliant discourses of the guru of the gods in the form of Sukracharya, and sought to practice his every ideal. For 10 years, peace and harmony reigned on the earth, in the heavens, and in the atmosphere. For 10 years, the real Sukracharya enjoyed his relationship with Jayanti. After 10 years, Sukracharya took leave of Jayanti. The false Sukracharya was giving discourse when Shukracharya entered the ashram precincts. He saw the false Sukracharya with great astonishment and immediately recognized the inner being of his adversary. "O asuras," he called out loud, "why are you listening to this false prophet? Do you believe him? He's really the guru of the gods. I am the real Sukracharya." The false Sukracharya boldly proclaimed, "Asuras, I've been here the last 10 years and have always endeavored to inspire within the most noble conduct to which an individual can aspire. I came here immediately after my tapasya with Lord Shiva was completed and have been sharing the wisdom by which we come into harmony with all existence and attain our highest potential. Here that this false pretender has been, and what has he been doing?" Sukracharya became angry. "Asuras, don't listen to him. He is here to trick you. Don't believe him. I have the mantra from Lord Shiva, and it is I who will make you victorious." The asuras became angry with him. "Where have you been the last 10 years?" they scowled. "What makes you worthy of our trust? Sukracharya again spoke in anger. "I am the real Sukracharya, your guru. If you forsake your guru and pay him disrespect, I will curse you. You will never defeat the gods." He threw the Ganga water upon the asuras, who were shocked with confusion, and he departed from the scene. After Sukracharya had gone, Brihaspati, in the form of the false Sukracharya, stood up and bowed before the assembly of asuras. "Asuras," he announced, "it is time for me to ascend to my heavenly home." With that, he assumed the real form and rose up into the heavens. When the asuras realized their grave mistake in trusting the false guru, they ran after the real Sukracharya and bowed at his lotus feet. "We have committed error, our father. We have committed error. We've succumbed to the logic of divinity, and therefore we are unable to recognize you. Please forgive us. Do not abandon us to a life of continual defeat." Sukracharya looked at his disciples with great compassion. "My disciples, there is nothing I can do. The curse has been spoken and cannot be revoked. Whenever devotion is strong enough to focus attention there, duality will not be able to remain. The asuras ultimately will be defeated. Any aspirant who persists in the practices of self-purification will ultimately become pure." Chapter 18, Satis' Lament and Dakshas' Yagya. Yagya being a fire puja. Shiva concluded the story. He looked deeply into his own self and drifted into meditation. For 50 million years he remained still and motionless. Sati was sitting outside, looking at the meditating yogi, thinking, "Oh, what have I done? What I've done was very wrong. Will my Lord never come back from his meditations? Will he ever pay attention to me again? When will my Lord see me again? How can I have done such a terrible thing as to lie to the Lord of all lords, the God of all gods? Being untruthful to my own husband, how could I ever trust anyone again? Knowing that it is possible for me to tell lies to my own husband," and Sati inquired of herself. As the years went by, Sati became disgusted in herself, thinking, I am unworthy of the trust of the Lord of the universe. If there is only some way I could become purified, so I could remain in his favor, I would rather not have a body at all than the nature which is untrue to the Lord. And in this way, for 15 million years, Sati sorrowed and lamented over her bad behavior. Well, about 50 million years later, Daksha, Prajapati, was ready to institute a new creation in which Brahma had entrusted him. He wanted to conduct the greatest sacrifice of all time, to initiate the procedure of creation, and he invited everyone who is anyone in heaven to attend. He invited all the gods, all the spirits, all the celestial beings, and all the divine beings of heaven and earth, except for Lord Shiva. I will show that Shiva, he said, that Pasupatinath. Sati looked out from Mount Kailasha and saw everyone adorned in their finest, racing toward her father's home. She stopped someone and asked, where are you going? And the reply was, don't you know? Your father, Daksha, Prajapati, is having the greatest sacrifice of all time. We've all been invited. He's giving away so many presents and so many gifts. What a sacrifice. There's never been a sacrifice like this in all history. Sati went over where Shiva was sitting and said, Shiva, Shiva, wake up, wake up. Shiva, please, please just come to me. Shiva opened his eyes and Sati said, oh Shiva, there is a great sacrifice going on at my father's house. Let's go. And Shiva replied, we were not invited. And Sati said, oh, come on, Shiva. It's my own father's house. Why do we need an invitation? And Shiva said, believe me, we won't receive any respect there. We shouldn't go. And Sati said, please, Shiva, can't we go? It's my own father's house, and I don't see an invitation to go. I don't need an invitation to go to my father's house. What kind of daughter needs an invitation to go to her own home? I am just supposed to sit around here watching you meditate? Can't we do something fun in our lives? And Shiva said, we're not going. By this time, Sati was adamant and said, Shiva, I want to go. And Shiva said, okay, if you want to go, go ahead. I will give you an entourage and transportation. Nandi, my bull, carry Sati to the sacrifice and let the whole army of ghosts and goblins, all my entourage, go with her and make sure she has no problems. Sati mounted Nandi the bull and with Shiva's entire entourage went to her father's home. She walked into the sacrificial arena, but Daksha didn't recognize her. Oh, Muni, Dadichi by name, looked around the assembly and said, everyone has been invited, but I don't see a place for Lord Shiva. Daksha said, there is no place for Shiva here. Shiva was not invited. Dadichi said, there can't be any sacrifice without Shiva. What kind of nonsense is this? Do you think that we'll be able to complete a yagya without inviting Shiva? Impossible, Daksha. Be careful, I warn you. This sacrifice won't be complete until you invite Shiva. Please go get Shiva. No sacrifice can be complete without an offering to Lord Shiva. That uncouth hippie. He hangs out with ghosts and goblins and takes intoxicants all day long. I've not invited him to my house. He is no good, that Shiva. Dadichi declared to the assembly of Munis, I am not staying at the sacrifice where Shiva is not invited. And if any of you want to take my advice, you too will get up and leave. No one got up but Dadichi, and he walked out. Sati walked over to her father and said, what kind of yagya is this anyway? What did my Lord do that you want to insult him like this, inviting everyone but your own daughter and her husband?" And Dakshas said, "Daughter, who invited you here? If you want to stay, go into the inner apartments and remain with the women. I didn't tell you to come here. Don't you tell me how to run my sacrifice. That no good Shiva has no place here. That is all there is to it." Jai Maha. Jai Maha. Jai Maha. I invite you now to take a deep and clearing breath and slowly open your eyes to look upon our second altar. And by the way, our next chapter will really be the culminating event of our series, of our chapters from the Swami Purana. So, one of Chinnamasta's many names is Vajra, and Vajra means diamond or lightning. And it's believed that Chinnamasta was the precursor to the Nepali and Tibetan goddess Vajrayogini. She's considered to be the embodiment of female Buddhahood. And I've been working with Vajrayogini quite a bit lately. I've been doing a lot of japa practice, and I've shared some of that with you on my channel. And so our concluding puja will be one to both Chinnamasta and to Vajrayogini. So I invite you now to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we're going to chant 3 seed syllables that's very important to both of these forms of the Divine Mother. The syllable Om, followed by A, and then Hum. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer. There we go. So with your hands together, inhale. Inhale, Ah. Ah. Inhale, Hum. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavistam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi Omahum. Om Maha Guru Deva Dakini Sapadavada Agyam Braticha Om Sva. We offer water for sipping. Om Maha Guru Deva Dakini Sapadavada Padyam Braticha Om Sva. We offer water for washing. Om Maha Guru Deva Dakini Sapadavada Pushpe Braticha Om Sva. We offer flowers. Om Maha Guru Deva Dakini Sapadavada Dupe Praticha Sva. We offer incense. Om Maha Guru Devadakini Sapadavara Aloke Praticham Sva. We offer light. Om Maha Guru Devadakini Sapadavara Gande Praticha Om Sva. We offer fragrance. Om Maha Guru Devadakini Sapadavara Navidye Praticha Om Sva. We offer wine and food. Om Maha Guru Devadakini Sapadavara Shabda Praticha Om Sva. We offer music. Om Ahum. 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 Jai Maha. Om Sava Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadike Sadanye Trambake Devi Naryane Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sana Vavatu Sana Bunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvidyavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Ma Devi. Jai Ma Chinnamasta. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Ma. And namaste. Blessings always. And thank you so very much for joining me. So, Ma Chinnamasta and her other form. Tomorrow will be day 7. And so traditionally, because there's 10 Mahavidyas but 9 days to Navaratri, day 7 is the day that 2 different forms of the Divine Mother will be honored. So tomorrow at noon on YouTube, or you can join us at our temple. I will be honoring the goddess Dhumavati, who is the divine mother in the form of a widow, and will be honoring Baglamukhi, who is the destroyer of falsehood. Till then, have a wonderful Saturday. See you next time. Thank you. Jai Mata Di.